Welcome to the Mindful Nuggets podcast, where faith, mindset, and transformation collide with real conversation.
We're your hosts, William and Michelle, founders of the Mindful Nuggets community, a space to connect, cultivate, and thrive in health, wealth, and well-being.
Here, your words shape your world. Your values define your path. Your faith fuels your future.
So if you're ready to break free, rebuild, and step boldly into your next chapter, you're in the right place.
Monday, isn't it?
It is Monday again. We're back. So welcome
Wow.
back, everyone, to Mindful Nuggets. And thank you, William, for joining us this evening.
I appreciate you too. It kind of works when both of us come together.
It does. It works when we both show up. But it's Monday again. So we are continuing to move forward in our series on success. We're basically talking about the pillars of success and how success actually is foreseen or thought out. And we're going to actually start with the first process, okay? But we have been talking about this. And one of the things that William and I both agree on is that before you start in any kind of successful way, you need to have a vision. So,
Yes.
what is your vision, right? And where does that vision take you? And how do you even get started in a vision? That's really where we want to begin. How do you even start in a vision?
Right. And so, what's a vision anyway is really the question on it. And it's something that we see. I'll give you a quick example. Like when we build something, you can see it in your mind, what it looks like. Okay. And all these little pieces and parts need to go together to make it. A Lego set, for example, that's designed that somebody sees in their mind, it's like a drawing. But before it becomes little blocks, that design has to be in there, the concept has to be in there. Or anything like a canvas that you're getting ready to paint. A vision is something that, okay, this is what I want to paint. Okay, and that goes the same for your life. Is what is it that you want to paint for your life? And it can be one painting, or it could be multiple paintings over time, because visions change over time. They just, for some, it's just one vision and it's the rest of their life, and that's rare, very rare.
That's very
But
rare.
most of us, it starts out when we're young. We find out that the things that gets us excited, and I want to grow up and be. Okay, and then a lot of times we get into that, and then we get into the workforce, and then we get disillusioned, and then the vision fades on it, and dreams fade, and then we're inducted into doing this because we forgot the vision. And without the vision, that's exactly what we do, is doing this, and it's a bunch of doo-doo because it doesn't result in anything other than missed goals, or you won't even be able to hit your goals because it's impossible to do so on it, because there's no design to follow, there's nothing to build. And that's vision, and God is the one that gives us the vision. He gives us our virtues, our talents, our skill sets. We hone our skill set, we learn skill sets, but he gives us abilities that naturally fit with the vision he wants for our lives and to do and to build.
Okay, so let's do a recap for everybody here.
I agree.
At Mindful Nuggets. So today, before we even kick this off in that direction, I want to let everybody know that today's podcast is sponsored by Show Me Nourish. That is myself, Michelle Rawls, your co-host today. So my nutrition business is sponsoring Mindful Nuggets today, and we want to thank everyone for being here. So let's go ahead and let's recap last week. Okay, so we talked about intention last week. Intention of the seed. So why don't we recap that, because that seed is where the vision is coming from.
Right. Okay. Well, the seed is a vision.
Right.
All right. So you're planting it. And we talked about the garden of intent.
Right.
Where we have the soil, the fertile soil, which is vital to the growth of the seed. Once you plug it in, not only the work, but the nutrients in that soil. And they all have to be together in order for you to have a successful harvest.
Right.
But the vision is what's my crop I want to plant. That's what I'm going about. What's your design for your life that you want to create. And we have so much control of what we create in our life is not even funny, because success is a few principles honed in daily, step by step, block by block, to build something that's going to be long lasting, because it's the process that you're building.
Right.
It's not the one off. It's not the Hail Mary. It's not winning the lottery. It's not any of that. Is what you build in your life that matters, and what you fall back on and you create. So, but it all starts with, like we said, the state of intention. All right. But we got to start back that up a little bit, and we got to say, what is the vision for this garden? And Michelle, what in good example of what the vision of that garden is clearly what God put on your mind, that
Right. It's
that he's
it's clearly what he has,
yeah,
placed in my heart for
yeah,
what he wants me to see. And it's whether or not I'm
yeah,
listening and paying attention. I tell this to everybody. If it's really weighing on you, then you should be looking at it. You should be
yes, absolutely.
seeing what that is supposed to play out for you.
Okay, so again, we have an idea. I would go back to the tapestry in the garden. What
Right.
do I want to draw? And I don't know exactly a lot of times either. We didn't know, Michelle and I didn't know about,
We had
well,
no
let's start a
idea.
podcast. We had no idea. But it was a draft. It was a drawing on the board. It was an itch. It's getting clear. We're filling in all the
Right.
strokes on the painting. And the farmer has a need, because the farmer knows that if I plant this, it's going to yield that, which is going to take care of me at harvest time and my family. And I decide that I want to grow potatoes or tomatoes or fruits or things like that, based on, well, where you are, what's available, and what is given to you to work with, that you're going to yield a crop. Now, vision is something that you enjoy too. And a farmer doesn't be, farmer's not a farmer unless he's created to be a farmer.
That's true. That is very true.
Okay. I'm serious, because that's what I'm saying. God gives you a vision, but God gives you what he wants your life to be like and be happy. All right. So a farmer gets joy like I do. I mean, I like to get my hands dirty, the simple things of
I
working in
like
the
putting my
dirt,
hands in the dirt. I really do.
in the dirt. Yeah,
That's Mother Nature healing me when I'm in that dirt,
right. And it's a simple pleasure to where you can get in tune and you can talk to God while you're doing that and do the work. And it's in harmony, it's in balance. You're not pushing it, you're not straining. It's in the vision. So I'm creating this vision and I'm planting this garden, and I've got an idea of what I like to plant. I just don't go in there and grab a bunch of seeds and just swing them out and hope for the best. And a lot of us do that in life.
Right.
All right. And then all of a sudden we're disappointed because nothing grew. If it partially grew, it's not what we expected. It's because it wasn't intentional. It wasn't by design, and it didn't line up with vision on it. And a lot of us run out. We run out of patience with our vision. We start off fired up. We got a great idea, and it sounds wonderful. We get out there, we go at it, and then the world gets a hold of you and deflates you. Or you're looking for external validation that, yeah, this is a great vision, it's going to work, and you don't get it. And so by the time you're planting in the springtime and you get to the summer, you give up because nothing's showing. You quit.
But we
You
give
did
up
it.
because we don't have either the right vision and we lost passion for it, or we
Yeah,
didn't surround ourselves with those people that we needed to surround ourselves with.
exactly.
The same
We,
goes for the garden. If you don't put certain plants or flowers around plants, or certain plants around plants, then your garden doesn't grow as well as it should because you didn't keep things next to each other that should be next to each other in order to make it grow and flourish and be, its most vulnerable self, because you had pests that tapped in on it, or you had,
right.
birds and squirrels and rabbits that
Okay.
tapped in
A
on
good,
it.
a good example is that not dandelions, but
Marigolds.
carnations,
Yeah.
marigolds. Thank you,
Yeah,
marigolds. Yeah,
marigolds.
is planting it in the garden. See, I wouldn't have known that unless somebody told me that, and that's because they had experience.
Yeah.
Right, that's mentorship. Go plant a marigold next to your
Right.
tomatoes or whatever, because it smells and bugs don't like it.
Hey, that's
So,
exactly true.
and see, that was designed by intent. It had purpose. All right. So you have intent and purpose and vision. All those are necessary in order to grow. But when we get into there, we lose our intentionality because maybe it's not in alignment.
Right.
Maybe it was a shining object. We got excited and then we got bored with it. I know because I've done that too. I've had some great ideas, got fired up, and next thing I know, it's by the wayside, and it's never gonna grow. Or somebody has said something to you that undermined your confidence that it could, and then you don't do it because you lost faith.
Right. Right.
And and then there's things you plant. It's not in season yet, and you're out of season, and you're growing something that's not going to grow because it's at the wrong time. A lot of this has to do with God's time and His way and His perfect timing, not your own. And then more importantly is when we have a vision and we're actually getting alignment and we're planting in the right season. Well, your vision may be limited because God may have a bigger vision. You need to allow room for it to grow and not be rigid. It's got to be this vision. It's got to be this way.
Well,
You need to be
let's take into
flexible.
account what we've been through,
Yeah.
with what we've created. Let's use ourselves as an example here. So here we are, and we literally said that we were just going to start by creating a. Let's just get on TikTok. That's what we said. Let's just get on TikTok and let's see where it goes. Let's create a podcast. We had we had people coming in and watching, paying attention, but we didn't have the
Okay.
engagement. So you and I, we talked about it repeatedly. How many did we have this time? What was the engagement, etc. And then we decided maybe we need to pivot. Maybe we need to come back to Zoom. Maybe we need to do it here on Zoom. So we
Mm-hmm.
pivoted and we made a change. And then we
Mm-hmm.
asked for feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
now we're in that next step. But we could have gave up at the TikTok stop. When we
So that,
decided to not pivot, we could have gave up at that point and said, you know what, this just isn't working. It's not something that, is really being productive. And it's just
right.
a waste of my time at this point.
Yeah, we could have wadded up the paper on the drawing board and just throw it in the wastebasket. We're done. What's
Absolutely.
next? And then you said that's also a habit too. I can attest to that myself. I'll get close to it, and then again, the season I get tired or bored, or like I said before, or I don't believe it's going to work, and then I just jump to the next thing. Well, you're
Are
never
you
going.
saying when you say you believe it's not going to work, are you saying you lost faith in it at that
That's
point?
well, belief and faith are intertwined.
Right.
Belief. You have to have belief in order to put faith into action. Okay, if you don't believe, your faith is dead.
No,
It's not going to
I
work.
agree.
Yeah, it's not going to work. So you've already killed the seed at that point. And
Right.
so the works of faith are that have there's no work of faith. It's just work, and it's not going to create anything. It's just doing this at that point. So, but we get there's many reasons why things don't work. But the fact is, we need to know what the process is, and this is the whole purpose of this series is what is the process to success? God's way, not our way. God's way. His
Right.
way is fruitful and it's long lasting. And there's plenty of promises throughout the Bible that tells you. In fact, I'm going to go back to Habakkuk and 2:2 is one of them. It says, write the vision because the vision is given to you. And when it says write the vision, there's a purpose for writing the vision. It's because you're making it real,
Right.
tangible. It's no longer in your head. It can't just disappear. You translate it, manifested it to something that was visible from the unseen. And that's the basis of faith.
Okay, but we just talked about this too. We talked
Mm-hmm.
about how you write it down, you make it visible. That's your
Make it.
manifestation process. But
Mm-hmm.
we live in a world today where everyone, instead of writing with this beautiful pen, that we should be writing
Exactly.
on a piece of
Your
paper,
own hand should be
keeping
writing
yeah,
this.
and keeping
Mm-hmm.
that, within ourselves and working on that task each day with action as we've laid out and just doing, ourselves, being ourselves. um we have social media, and it's inevitable, that people are out here on social media every single day, and they are tapping out there all their information, all the things that they're doing. Today we went over here and we created this, and this is what happened, and this is what we got back out of it. And you've got these others over here. I made this much money, and this is what I did, and you should do it too. Is it real? And then again, who's possibly in the background looking at, gaining a jump on it before you
Right.
do?
Right. Well, that goes in what we talked about right before we started getting onto the
Yeah.
air about that is vision protection. But let me go back and finish the verse real quick. It says, write the vision. Okay, write physically, like Michelle said, hold the pen, not type it on the keyboard, not just
Nope.
speak it out,
Nope.
write it down or draw it. Okay,
Right.
it's a translation from what is in your mind, the neural pathways. Remember, you're writing it is muscle memory down. You keep writing that down, it starts building what is called the belief and confidence because it starts becoming real. You're seeing it every day. It's the whole purpose of a vision board. Speaking of vision board, we're going to have a guest is a vision board expert, and she trains actually leaders how to build a business out of this. And
Mhm.
I'm excited to have her come on. Her name's Debbie Slews. She's from Canada. And we became a friend about a year ago. But she has a lot to talk about vision. And that's why I want to invite this person in. And as we go through these success modules or the foundation of success, we're inviting people in to talk about these specific things. They're living it out,
Right.
not
Right.
bragging about it on social media, but building a successful long-term business and having fruit from it and enjoying it as they go through it. And Debbie's a friend of mine, and I'm really excited to have her come talk to it. So going back to the verse, write the vision, write the vision. All right, those words are very critical. You understand, write it, and it's vision. Write the vision. Make it plain. Keep it simple. If you can't write it down on a napkin or a back of a business card, is too complicated. You need to keep it very simple because when you keep it very simple, it's easy to speak to that and be able to talk to other people about that, and they're not confused. So make it a plain upon tablets, journal it,
Right.
notebook,
Journal it.
okay? Because that's where you're gonna do it. And I'm gonna go back to Michelle's point, what we were talking about. Think of your vision when you actually have it. It may be the next thing in the marketplace that transforms the whole marketplace. We don't know. It may be a dud. We don't know. What we do know is the faster you get to marketplace, the faster you'll know if the market wants that or doesn't want that. Now, with that being said, think of your vision as your own baby because that's what it is. And when you have that vision, I know you go out and announce to everybody you just had a baby. That's great. But now when you do that, you're exposing yourself to a lot of feedback.
Hmm.
Okay. And then in the case of the vision in it, and it can be monetized, or it's a relationship. It's not a business. Okay. But it is a vision that you have a dream for what you want in your life as a partnership or as a relationship. When you start going out to the world, like the world teaches us now, to show your underwear, tell everything.
Pretty
All right.
much.
All right. And that's to me is the herd. I don't follow the herd because I know there's certain things you need to keep private. And there's a reason why you need to keep certain things private. If your vision is valid, you're not go back to the day, you're gonna take it out and let's pretend it's now winter. All right. You're taking it out into the world of harsh elements. You're exposing that if you don't have that baby wrapped and protected, it could frostbite, i.e., dream killers.
Right. Right.
The people that tell you that this is not going to work, you're crazy off your rocker.
Well,
Or,
maybe you should think about that. There's all these other factors of, how are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to feed your
right, and
family?
that's a very very common one because that would kill it immediately. And it's a lot of times it's a love thing too, trying to protect you, but that may be the good intention, but it's
Right. Right.
not good. Okay,
Right.
it may actually stop you from becoming free from what you're entrapped in. But the other thing is too, somebody might steal your vision. And if you don't build up and do the work internally, I know it's great. You know, you get excited and all those things, and you want to go announce it to the world. I've got this vision. It's going to be great, and all that stuff. The world doesn't care.
Not
It
until
really
they see
does not
what's actually
give a
taking place. If
darn
there's
about it.
success at it, yeah. When there's
You
success at it,
know,
that's when they'll pay attention. But in the meantime, they're going to
but
do everything
right.
they can
But
to
at
either,
that point, instead of looking for the validation
right.
of what it is and your excitement, take that excitement, put it into action, and build it. And
Yeah.
so when you build it, you start getting success before you go out and announce it. And at that point, you have got ahead of the game. You got proof of concept. And now you can say it. And the naysayers, they can't naysay anymore because you already proved it.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a fine balance there. And a lot of times when we say to isolate and do these things is a balance. And I'm going to say when you have a vision, and this really matters just as much as the vision, is having an inner circle of people that you can trust and talk
That's
to.
it. Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
huge
that's
one.
the community, but more so, who are you going to invite in your life
Right.
that's going to matter? And I'm talking about that you trust with your life. And I know with Michelle, I do. And I confide in her with more things than I do with even with close friends. But that's what I'm talking about your inner circle. Those are the people who are going to say, I believe in you, but let me show you a different angle, or I see this differently, or I agree with you. Let's go. All right.
Right.
And
Right.
those things like that. So there's certain things that you need to understand about vision. One, get one. All right. And you may not have a clear idea, but I want you, if you don't, here's where to start. Look back what made you happy when you were a kid. All right. And then look at the things that happened in your life and look at that as a puzzle or a tapestry and see, because most times as you go through life and you get these different skills, you go through these different experiences, they're cumulative to what needs to develop that vision and support it. But go back to the core of where you were. What were you? Where were you happy? What was it that you were doing at the time? What were you creating in the moment? What was on the drawing board? Who were you with? And all those things. And I know a lot of people have had some rough childhoods, but even so, there's dreams and there's vision. So that's one place to start. Start with what makes you happy. And that's what makes you happy. You don't have passion. And you don't have passion, you don't have drive. And then when you start building, you start getting results, then you really get the ball rolling. And that's what God designed us to be.
Right. Right.
Not to be entrapped, not to be in job, not to be miserable.
But there is a test that always comes out when you are in a vision process. We need to be real here and very authentic. We started this process. We've hit our, we've hit our walls. We've had things that have happened, that have come up and we're like, okay, we need to relook this over, or we need to,
Right,
maybe go this direction instead.
right.
Um,
But you
but
just said
we've
the right thing.
stayed but we've stayed in our vision of what we want to create here. Oh, that I shouldn't say want, we have created here. And I need to make sure I'm making myself very clear.
We
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 have results.
created this community from the want of what we were looking for. We were looking for connections. We were looking for those relationships, for people to understand that maybe there's a possibility here later in life when things, look at you and you go, wow, I really don't have all I need. Not only that, maybe I'm really not ready to continue that side of life. Maybe I'm ready to go over here and do this. That's why we created Mindful Nugget, so that people would have a place to land, to be heard, to be seen, to connect with people, cultivate some partnerships, collaborations, whatever they would like to do. But in the end, they came together.
Well, we've learned that lesson.
We have.
Collaboration with the right environment, the right fertile ground
Right.
produces opportunities beyond what you can ever imagine. And that's the way it is, because when that happens, it puts a vision in place. You may adopt a vision from it.
And
And
that's what happened to
yeah,
us. We
yeah,
we had a vision, and all of a sudden that vision went poof, like it just started magnifying all over the place. And when we brought in everyone, as we continue to bring in even more individuals every day into this community, the vision just keeps growing and
yeah.
just keeps
So
building. But we're doing it based on what God's telling us to do. We're listening.
we're listening. We're listening. and we're being attentive, and we're understanding what's being said, and then we're putting it into application
Right.
at the same time. And that's another part of success we'll talk about. But so far, what does vision matter? Well, it's the basis of creation. And I'm going over this summary just a little bit before we get into what happens when something breaks your vision. We'll talk about that in a second. Because I mean, both of us had things that we thought was going to happen in our lives, and it just blew up, and it never went anywhere. And
Yep.
that's I'll get to that in a second. But without vision, there's no creation. No
Nope.
creation, then what are you investing your time in? And you're
Exactly.
and then in your investing your time, it's not giving a great return or whatever you expect out of life. You just say, hold up, horses. All right, because I only have time that is finite amount. And it's the most valuable thing you have outside of relationships, and that's it. It's something you cannot get back. You can go broke tomorrow and be rich the next day with money. You can have a great relationship, lose it, but you have an opportunity to build another.
That's
But
right.
time, nobody on this planet gets it back.
Nope.
All
Time's
right.
lost. It's lost.
And so, what are you doing with your life? Are you being intentional? Do you have a vision? Do you have a purpose? Is it big enough? Get to it, start building it, do whatever it takes to make it happen. Because if when you do, you're going to exceed humanity by 97%. The odds are not the favorite, but it's not because success is out of reach. It's because people don't want to do the work or don't know how to build it. And this is what we're here to show you, is how to lay the foundation to build true success in your life. Whatever it is and whatever success is to you, you do it the right way. It's a law of nature. It cannot be ignored. It will come to you, and God promises it to you. And you got to believe it. And it's a process. You got to trust the process. You don't go digging up the seed to see if it's grown roots yet. You leave it and you do what's necessary. So get your vision, and then you got to be flexible. You got to have faith, and you got to be flexible. That's what we just talked about. Michelle and I were flexible.
Well,
Yeah,
we
we
have
got
to be, because if we're not, and we're so rigid
it.
to what we think we
Right.
see or
We
should
told God,
see,
sorry, this is our plan.
yeah,
You can't get in.
right. It's not going to work.
How many times do we do that? A
Oh,
lot.
every day. I mean, I know
Yeah.
people do it every single day. And when I
Okay.
really
So,
surrendered to him is when I realized that that's when things were
okay.
lining
Well,
up.
stop right there for real quick. Psalms 37:23, steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. He delights in his way. Okay. So God's with you.
Yeah.
He
Every
orders your
single
step.
day.
He gave you a vision. Come on. He gave you a vision. And of course, he's going to order your steps. If you're following his vision that he gave to
Right.
you, he has your steps. He already knows the steps. So let him lead. We're all incapable of imagining what he has in plan for us. We just can't do it. But we shut him out the door. So be flexible. All right. So what happens, Michelle? Like I'm gonna talk about tomorrow in the lounge. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Okay.
All right, and I injured my hand majorly, and I that just blew the dream. Okay, so I've got this vision. I was dedicated to build this, make it happen, to get out and be a fighter pilot. I was on course, making the right connections. I had the aptitude, had the skill, and it had everything going for me. And just that one little accident just blew me out. I know a lot of athletes or wanted to be athletes and had that same thing happen. Just took them out. Sorry, it ain't
Yeah, my
happening.
brother was one of them.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of what happens when your dreams are shattered? Do you quit? Do you give up?
Yeah. I mean, some do.
Some do.
My
And
brother did. I mean, he's offered a contract with the St. Louis Cardinals, and he goes down to train and he blows his arm out, has to have Tommy John,
yeah.
and didn't come back.
And yep. No, your professional career is over. And
He
it's
thought
I
it
mean, it's
was.
over.
He really felt it was.
Right. That's what I was getting at right there. You just touched on it. I believed it was done. All right. I lost my dream. My point being is if that door shuts, God opens another door.
Yeah.
And that had I went
There's a
ahead and
reason why that door shut.
that's right.
No, he
And
knew what that vision for you was and was not supposed to
and
be.
it and that's correct. And he had a different plan. Well, there's many things I could still gone into the military. It may not have been a fighter pilot, but I've definitely been around pilots. And now that I know what has transpired over the years and decades, I would have had a good shot to be what I wanted to be had I not given up and lost my confidence in my vision. Instead, I channeled that ambition into business and ended up not listening to God, and I paid a high price for that. That's another conversation on it, and it cost not only my nearly my life, and it cost my family, and it was not worth it. And there's a lot of us out there that are following along a path of what the world defines as success, and they're driving blind ambition, i.e., you're not planting the seeds that you need to be planting, you're not going through the right things, you're chasing something. And success is not something you chase. Success is something you start and develop inside. You become it. You attract success.
Yeah, it's something you
So
build.
when right, so when you know everybody's gonna get thrown curveballs. Michelle and I got going, and we got a curveball. We made a small change. It ended up stopping all the momentum, and it caused a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
And we had to re-gear, restart, and recommit. All right, but we didn't quit. And so what my point is, when things get shattered, there may be a good reason. And the good thing that we talk about here is the perspective of how we look at what happened does not define us who we're going to be. Things happen, but focus on the gratitude and what can be, and start looking in your community to help get guidance, get a mentor to help lead you in what you're dreaming. Just don't give up. All right. God has a plan and there's a vision. So if that didn't work out, have hope. Have hope, because there will be one for you. One door shuts, another open, but you got to trust and be in alignment. So,
Okay, well, before we round out this last part of vision, I
mm-hmm,
just want to remind everyone today that Mindful Nuggets is sponsored by Show Me Nourish.
yep,
So make sure you check out Show Me Nourish here at the Mindful Nuggets. As well as if you have not hit that subscribe button, go do that. And make sure you're following us at Mindful Nuggets on all social media entities. We have got every entity of Mindful Nuggets covered as far as social media is concerned. So go check us out there. Facebook, Instagram,
she
LinkedIn,
does. She's all over the place.
TikTok. We're everywhere. So go ahead and click on Mindful
You're
Nuggets and
you're serious
follow us.
about getting well and eating right. You know, you don't eat to live, not live to eat. All right, you're not out there grazing. You're actually eating because you care about what you're putting in your body. And they come off the diet of the American Western or the Western diet.
Right. Let's get out of the
Right? When
Western
you're
diet,
ready to
right?
get out of that and start healing your body and get into performance, because when you're building a vision, you need to operate at peak performance. And if you malnourish your body, you're malnourishing your brain. And when you're malnourishing your brain, you're not going to move as fast. You're not going to be as clear. Clarity is a key factor in vision.
That's
And
right.
only when you get that is put in action, and your body's got to be clear, your mind's got to be clear. And the food that is manufactured here is not going to help you keep it clear. Michelle can set you straight. So hook up with it and start getting your plan. I'm talking about you people that have a vision. You want it to come true, then get a mentor for nutrition, and she is it. And she has helped me out a lot. So
All right. Well,
good.
thank you very
So
much for that. Yeah. So let's round out this last part of the series,
yep.
or for today anyway. I'm here at Mindful Nuggets. So, what makes the vision real? Where does that actually come into
Okay, we went there and write it down. That was one of the other steps that we needed to bring. So, we got to basically be intentful. We have a vision. All right. We need that first, because we know without vision, nothing is created. That's our blueprint to success. That's the beginning foundation. That's putting the seed into the ground. All right.
Yep.
Then we got to require the faith that the process is going to work, and we got to be flexible for things that are going to come at us. It's going to change. You need to be flexible. You can't be rigid, because if you be rigid, you're not you may be expecting a corn stalk to come up and you get an okra plant. What do you do then? You know, so it's not the crop you intended.
Believe me, when
So
I first started growing my garden, yeah, I had some things that I wasn't sure what that was growing in my garden. So, I had to
so
learn. I knew what my vision was for my garden, but I had to learn how to make that happen. So every year it has gotten better and better in the vision of what I'm creating with my garden.
right, and but see that's become clarity. That's why you get your vision and clarity by your action. Action creates clarity because you don't get feedback whether it works or doesn't work, or things it could be. It could change and pivot this way, and it'd be better if you did. But all those things require steps of faith, and
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Action is faith that it's going to work, and it may not, but at least you can tune, you can steer the ship better on it. You can see the destination clear. You can understand the journey is going to take some time, but you get to enjoy it along the way because you know you're going to get to the destination, which is even more important. So if you had confidence that you're going to have a perfect relationship in the next 5 years or 3 years, or you're going to have money. Money is a tool that's going to set you free. Not that you're collecting money, but money is a tool, and it can do that and give you options you never had in your life. But if you knew you were going to have that, would you do it? So that's the faith part. If you say it to be, it will be. If it's in alignment with God, it's definitely going to be. So don't quit on
Well,
it.
that's the
So
part of having your vision where you're journaling.
that's right.
Journaling is
That's
vitally
right.
important. I use journaling in our nutrition. Every one
Yeah.
of my clients gets a nutrition journal to journal. You are to journal when you're with me. It's no different in any vision process that you have, building a
No
business,
matter what it is.
creating your home. You have a vision for your home. You have a vision of what those walls are going to look like. What's the paint color going to be on the wall? And it's
All
going
those
to
things.
change over time.
Right. Right. That's chapters. It changes
Mhm.
as chapters. But the thing is, you write it down, and then in a certain period of time, you're going to look back and see how much it changed. But at least you had the
Exactly.
original blueprint on it, and you're writing it down so you don't forget too on it, because your memory. Don't trust your memory. Don't. And that's the reason why you write these things down. So it's a document of
And it's not just to
was.
write it down. It's not just to write it down as a document, but it is for you to manifest out what it is you're wanting to create. Put it out there. Again, not on social media does everything have to go out there. I'm just saying when you write it down,
Yeah,
speak it out into existence
yeah.
because
And then protect
and
your vision.
protect
Yeah, protect,
yourself at the end, of course.
yeah, protect your vision. So all those things. So write it down is critical, and that gives you the basis, substance of things that are unseen to be seen now, and that's the essence of faith. So write it down. It starts to become clear. You get clarity. You get action. You're showing the growth over time. You're showing maturity in you as you change along with that vision on it,
So
because the
let's
growth.
ask our viewers then, what seed has God already planted in your hand, in your head? What seeds already out there? I would love to know. Make sure that you go out into the comments once you've subscribed. Go into the comments and let us know what vision do you have? What seed has been planted? Because you have something that's, stirring up in that head and is saying, yes, I want to do this. I want to do this. Maybe I want to go. I know for me, I've got some desires to get back into my crocheting, and for some reason, I'm really being pushed in that direction. Keep in mind, I used to crochet and sell that many years ago. That was another side of income, that I created, but I'd stepped away from that because I had dove into my nutrition so much. But there's been a push lately, so what is that one little nudge that's been tapping you? Let us know. We would like to know in the comments.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, if you don't write it down, how can you be clear? So
Oh,
write it down.
absolutely. Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right.
You don't
And
write it down, the clarity doesn't come.
all right. This the other thing with your vision. Look at it every day, or speak to it every day. Because until you can reprogram your mind.
Here's mine. It's
Yeah,
all in here.
I got mine over here. But the
It
thing
might let
that
me show it. It may not.
visualize your vision is critical.
Exactly. Exactly.
All
What
right.
does it
So
look
you,
like?
what does it feel like? Your
Yeah.
brain knows no difference from reality into imagination. If you close your eyes and just imagine yourself in that vision, what does that look like? What does it feel like? Do you like that? Is that something you want? Is that something you can create? Yeah, absolutely. Because
You know, it was
if
funny
you
that you
can,
say that. Yeah, because whenever I was, so 6 years ago, yeah, it's been 5 years we've been here. 6 years ago, I started a journal determined on manifesting to really prove that when you write things down, it manifests out. And I still have the journal. It's over here to the side of me. The journal stated very much so in the beginning of January 2020 when COVID struck. That was when I started writing about how I was going to have a house. I was going to get out of the apartment. It had been 11 years in an apartment. I had never really spent that long in any type of apartment setting. I've always had a home. And I had had enough and I wrote it down. I'm going to have a house. And this is what it's going to look like. And I wrote it down, it verbatim, what it looks like, how many rooms, where's my kitchen, what's my kitchen going to look like, you know. And we have the house today. A year later, we got that house. And I'm now in that house today.
it works. It
It
works.
does. Does.
And we had a car back when I had my transplants. The car was going bad. Transmissions go bad. I like the car, but I mean, it's going to be I don't know, several $1,000s for a transmission. We need a new car and need to be able to go back and forth to the doctor's hospital and things like that for a while. Well, my wife imagined she wanted a very specific car, and we got that specific car. When the color, that's why we were flexible. We didn't get the color that we wanted. We really didn't care. Well, what we got was a car that we didn't expect or expected to afford at the time. But God made a way because He knew that we needed the car.
And let's add the little piece of here that he's kind of leaving out. He was in the hospital on his deathbed, and his
Mm-hmm.
wife Melanie is to the side of the bed talking and speaking and making sure that he's being taken care of, but she's also hearing this car of what she wants because she had heard someone say in a sermon, write it down, just write it down. So she wrote it down and it kept speaking to her, and she wrote down that vehicle while he is in bed, and she's making sure he's getting taken care of by all the nurses and doctors. And the
Yep.
next thing you know, they're picking out the
God
vehicle.
made a way for us to afford it.
He did. He
And,
did.
and
He opened up the path.
that's what we're saying how powerful it is.
He's a
That
powerful God,
well,
but you have to
he
trust and
he
believe.
spoke the universe into existence. I mean, we can't even think to that level. We can't
Right.
even imagine to that level. There's no way. We're not in. We just don't have bandwidth for it. But if you think if God spoke the universe into existence, everything is His. All the resources are His. He can make a way for you
Right.
personally, and He has for both of us tremendously over time. But
Well,
that
we're
stopped.
here and we're nine
Yeah,
months into our podcast that we
yeah,
just said, hey, let's just go out and let's see if this works.
right. And that's it. It's a spark. It's the
Yeah.
beginning. The vision is a spark. Think about it this way: God the Father had a vision. It was a spark, energy.
Yep.
He had the beginning and the end already written out. He had the whole story. He authored the whole thing. And he
Right.
has a son. That's part of the Trinity. And so, son, you have all authority in heaven and earth. Go create this. And how do you create it? He spoke it. And so, if you go to John 1, in the beginning, which is a time construct, the beginning, that means God didn't have to be in it. He can create it, but he doesn't have to exist in it. That means he's infinite. In the beginning was the Word. Okay, well, the Word is Jesus Christ. So that means the Son in spirit, angel of the Lord, is spoken a lot in the Old Testament. That's a lot of times it's Jesus. The Father had the vision, go execute this, make it so, in which Jesus did. So God was with the Word, meaning those two were together, and God was the Word, meaning they were unified. And nothing was created that wasn't created by the Word.
Right.
It means everything's spoken by the Word to create. And that's what we're talking about. If you have a vision, you have a creation potential, and you use your words to speak it into existence, but you also write it down. These are some very, very basic, boring, foundational things that matter tremendously on building what it is that God intended for your life and what's on your heart to build. So take that away. That's your nugget. That's the massive nugget that you should really hone in on. Am I writing these things down? And am I speaking to it as it already is in my life? So when you have that vision, speak to it. It will manifest. It will create in your life. It may not be exactly what you think it is. Again, be flexible, protect your vision, speak to it. Plants grow when you speak nice to it. It's been proven by science. It shows your
All right.
vision.
That was your nugget for today. We appreciate you being here with us today. Make sure you go and tap that subscribe button. Go like and follow us as well.